Hi, welcome back to the channel. It's been a while since I made a video. Just finished editing my latest project, which was a kitchen remodel in a historic home. I think it turned out pretty well. We pretty much stuck to the original design, but had to change it up just a little bit, and I kind of explained that in the video. It's interesting. It's 100% using stock countertops and some butcher block countertops. I guess you can't say all of it's stock because I used some 1x6 to make a long countertop and a butler's pantry, and used three 4x25 butcher block countertops to form one, basically two lower countertops and a high countertop with a farmhouse sink in it. So I think it turned out pretty well. Hope it inspires somebody and might help somebody out who has a similar project. So here's the latest project. I'm going to be installing some open shelves here to the right of the sink. That sink's coming out. Gonna use a stock cabinet and modify it, basically hang it on the wall and put a large kick plate on it to support the bottom, and then do a dishwasher to the right of the sink once it's in, using butcher block countertops, in stock countertops, and then cutting them down to size. And then over here in the little butler's pantry area, we have an existing blue laminate countertop. It's approximately 100 inches long. Going to use some 1x6 pine and stain it a light gray and put a polyurethane on top of it. These areas don't get used very often. We're not going for a real rustic look, but the pine will work fine once it has some poly on it. It works good for this house. There's not people living in this house 24/7. It's more sort of a vacation house. So let's get started. All right, the sink is out, so getting ready to start doing some measuring here. I'll show you on the drawing what the original plan is. We had to variate just a little bit on that, but it's still going to work out just like we like it. So here's what we're starting with. It is a 30-inch drawer base that I'm going to use as a sink base. Now, the original plan was for it to have a flat top and have a vessel sink, basically using this farmhouse sink, which is 10 inches tall. It's a pretty tall sink, and it's 26 inches wide, but it doesn't work out with measurements with the plan. So what we're going to do is take out that front stile there and reinforce it so it'll accept that sink, and the sink's going to sit down on that bottom ledge just above the doors, and it's going to be on top just above that by about 4.5 inches. So we want the top of the bowl to be at 42 inches. Homeowner's tall and doesn't want to have to bend down in order to do the dishes. So that's next phase. So the 2x4 reinforcements are in. That sink is really heavy, 10 inches tall, 26 inches wide, tiled porcelain farmhouse sink. So what we're looking at now is a standard kitchen base. It's 34 inches tall, and we're going to raise that up and put a tall kick plate underneath it to support. So the top of that sink is going to come to the bottom of the stool here. Alright, so we got the plumbing in, got the sink kind of dry fit in there, so you get an idea of about where it falls, right underneath the window there. It's higher than normal countertop height, but that's what the homeowner wanted. This is a drawer dishwasher. That's going to be its final home right there. There'll be a small countertop and then a skinnier refrigerator that goes off to the right of that. So we're going to make a end panel on the left side there, just to neaten it up between that and the refrigerator. Also help hold up the countertop. Over here, getting ready to build some open shelves, which for the most part is going to be hidden by the range once it's back over to the left. So what I'm doing is ripping down some 2x3s. I don't have a planer with me, so I'm putting them on the table saw and just squaring up the edges. I'm getting set to build those now. So here's the dry fit of the front face frame for the shelving. It's a little low to the left. It hasn't been secured to the cabinet. So I didn't put a support on the right because there's going to be a leg on the sink cabinet. What I'll do is I'll put a middle support in past where the range is, so it'll give the appearance of a floating shelf. And all the other three are full length legs. So I'll take that front face frame off and just replicate the same size, and then run some stringers from side to side to support the shelves. Put one in the middle as well. So skipping ahead a bit, didn't have the camera rolling. So got basic 2x3 construction with some 1/2-inch blonde plywood for shelves. This is all going to be painted, so I really wasn't worried about screw holes. Otherwise I would use pocket holes to join everything together. This is a temporary block in there until I get the legs for the cabinet and build the kick plate for the cabinet, because that sink's really heavy. So I wanted to make that side floating, and then this side is on the floor and it's screwed to the wall. So I have some open shelving. For the most part, at least 30 inches is going to be covered by the range. So, and then there's going to be a curtain rod in front. All right, getting you up to speed here. So in this area is the dishwasher, 24-inch double door dishwasher. Just created a 1/2-inch end panel with 1/2-inch blonde plywood, and created a little end trim using that doubled up to create an inch. Got these at 24 1/4 because they go inside of here, just to keep the end panel stiff, and also a little extra support for the countertop. This will add some extra support for that as well. So getting ready to cut down the butcher block countertop to go in this spot. Alright, so here's the butcher block countertop for above the dishwasher. Cut it a little longer than the end panel. There's going to be a refrigerator there. It cut real nice. This is from Menards. It was $89 for a 4-foot section. I could notch around the front style rail here, but I think what I'm going to do is I rip down a 1/4-inch piece of the butcher block. I'm going to glue that into there, just like that, to cover that raw edge. Alright, so we got the butcher block for the open shelving cut, and did the same thing with the matching part of the butcher block that run up the side. Right now I've got the farm sink sitting on top of the butcher block, so I can trace the outline to start cutting it out so it will sit inside of the cabinet. So getting ready to start that now. So we have the top cut around the farmhouse sink. It's got a 1-inch overhang on each side. And I had to fill in a little bit on the sides, but once it's caulked and painted, you'll never know it. A little bit of flex in that top since there's such a big chunk of taken out, but once it's glued down in silicone, you'll never know. Dishwasher sticking out just a little bit further because the hoses are kinked in the back, but overall not too bad, fit pretty well. Just got to sand down the wood fronts of the open shelf and make the legs for the front, make a black kick plate that runs. Originally it was just going to be under the sink, but I think it may run under the cabinet or the open shelves too. So, all right, so I'm preparing to build the countertop for this butler's pantry built in here. There was a Formica top on there. It was 99 7/8 long, and it's about 18 inches deep. So I got some 1x6 select pine here. It's fairly inexpensive. Original plan was I was just going to glue them down to some particle board and then screw them from the bottom, but I think I may do some pocket holes in there just to try to line up the tops a little bit better. All that little stuff can be sanded out, but that's what we're going to try to do here. We'll see what works best. All right, getting set to make the countertop, which is going to be 99 7/8 long and approximately 18 inches deep. I got an 8-foot sheet of particle board ripped down to 16.5 because there's going to be a border on the front. Had to pocket hole in a piece, 2-inch piece at the end here to just because it came up short. And what I'm going to do is something I wouldn't normally do, but I'm just going to put a bunch of glue on top of the particle board and then screw from underneath to tighten it in. Alright, so I got the 3 boards in mounted on top of the particle board, glue and screw and nails. I'm getting ready to put a 2.5-inch border around the front to make it look like it's extra thick. Then I'll come back and sand. There's a couple high spots where the wood met up, but we'll be able to sand that out. Alright, so we got the front trim on. Made it look extra thick. Then I just got to come in here and use the multi-tool to cut that down and make a short return on both sides. Should have cut this out before I set it in there, but it's no big deal. All right, so here's the top. We've got the short return over there. Just did a little paint. We have to do a little paint touch up. It's sanded down. Got the short return over there. And getting ready to put a light gray stain on. So here's the finished countertop with some stain on it, sanded out. Had to make a paste with some of the stain and some wood fill to get out some of the joined parts, but now it looks like one long piece of wood. It has the appearance of being about 2.5 inches thick. Alright, so the countertops are in. I got a rod put on the open shelves, which there's going to be a curtain that goes across that eventually. I went ahead and mounted the faucet, and I did put some conditioner on the top where the sink is. You can see there's, once you put that on there, it deepens and makes it look a heck of a lot nicer. So we'll I'm getting ready to do the other tops here, and then we'll silicone around the sink to fill in the gaps. Here's the final look with the countertops. Got the conditioner on it. The sink's caulked. The faucet is in. Still need to get a strainer basket and plumb that. There's that little extra for the jump, the 1.5 inch jump up there. It's done the same butcher block material. Curtain rod. Now the oven is back in place. Got the small appliances temporarily on top of the rolling bar, which used to be an old countertop from a store. And here's the new countertop for the butler's pantry area, which was that 1x6 pine that we glued down to particle board, stained it a light gray, and some polyurethane on top for a little bit of shine. I think it turned out pretty well.